Hello friends, welcome to JavaEE EJB JPA tutorial. In this video, we are going to create JMS Queue in Wildfly. So here we will create a MDB message driven bean which will read the content in the JMS queue and process the content of the queue. That means there will be a message in the queue. The message driven bean will get that message and it will do the processing. So here we will create JMS queue. So this JMS queue will get consumed by the MDB. So MDB we will create in next coming videos, but here we will concentrate on setting up the JMS queue in the Wildfly server. Not required. So let's quickly review the previous two parts. First we learned about the JMS. Then we talked about message driven bean. Then we got a glimpse of what is a long running task and what are all the issues we will face when a long running task stays in stateless bean. Then we talked about message driven bean and JMS queue and how the long running task is pushed into the JMS processing. So in browser perspective, browser will just add the content to the queue and the server will immediately return stating that your request was received. In this video, we will set up the JMS queue. So we started this sub-series to learn MDB as well as JMS queue. A queue can be created in Wildfly by logging in as a super user role. So once you log into super user role, you can go to the configuration subsystem and based on this queue and topic, you can perform the task of creating the queue. So during the demo, we will see this in more detail. You can watch below video to know how to set up super user. Why? Because creating a new queue or topic or both requires super user role. So this below video tells how to set up the super user. So you can watch this to log into Wildfly as super user. Once the queue is created, it can be added with messages. So here we are talking about JMS queue, producer, consumer, all this stuff, right? So first we need to create the queue. That's what we are going to do using this administration console. Administration web UI. In our example, a JSP form will collect user input. So as already told, we will create a JSP form in the next coming video, which will collect user input and adds the message to the JMS queue, which we are going to create now in this video. So JSP here acts as a producer of message. Message will get added to the JMS queue and JSP form will play the role of message producer. So we will be creating the MDB also, message driven bean, which will act as a consumer. So here JSP form will push the message to the queue, and MDB will process that message from the queue. So here if you see, we will be creating a queue, and that queue is here. Message producer will be JSP. JSP will push the message to the queue using the JMS. Similarly, the message will get delivered to the MDB using the same JMS APIs, and this MDB will contact the stateless session bean to access the long running task. So this we saw in detail in the previous video, but what we want to bring here is the queue. That's what we are creating. So here queue plays the role right in the middle. So that's what we are going to create that in this video. Now we will go to demo and set up the JMS queue in Wildfly. Here a command prompt was opened. So app server is there on D drive. So I'm going to D drive. So this is the location of my app server. So by default, when you start the Wildfly server with a standalone configuration, it will go to standalone, then picks up the configuration standalone.xml. So in all our previous video, we used this standalone.xml, but this standalone.xml doesn't have configuration for JMS Queue, so we have to use standalone full. So whenever you deploy the Wildfly server, by default you will get this configuration. So standalone is somewhat a minimal configuration, and standalone full is with all features. But now when we start this as a standalone full, we will be losing the SQL server configuration, which was set for the standalone config.xml. So if you want to take those changes, then you can use file compare utility like winmerge or beyond compare, then push the MS SQL related driver related content, driver as well as the J&AI configuration related content from standalone XML to standalone full.xml. Anyhow, in this video we are not going to use database, so we don't need those configuration changes. Alright, now we will launch our Wildfly. Standalone -c switch specifies which configuration file we want to supply. That means here Wildfly will get launched by reading the standalone full config. So since this time we are launching the Wildfly with the full config, we will be getting the JMS related configuration. So let's wait for the Wildfly server to start. Remember, when we use the Eclipse to start the Wildfly server, the plugin will get in touch with this location, Wildfly server location, and it invokes the standalone. So we already saw this multiple times in our Eclipse console window. All right, now so here our Wildfly server is running. Now we will launch the web UI, HTTP. localhost. So this is the one. HTTP localhost 8080, and here we will launch the administration console. Then we will supply the username and the password. So as part of the prerequisite, you may be already added a user called admin, and you already provided a password in the configuration itself. So here I configured admin as a super user, and I'm using that to sign in. Watch the prerequisite video so that you will know how to add a super user to your Wildfly. Here you can see the user is admin and role is a super user. And here we are going to configuration, subsystem. So here we will be getting a messaging active MQ. So once you place the cursor here on the default, and once you click here, you will see queue and topics. So if you right click here, you can do all other configuration, but here we want to add a queue. So that's why we are directly clicking here on this queue and topics. So it is a bit tricky. You may be thinking that here add will create a new queue. So it's not like that. So you have to click this one. So it will act as a button, and this one will act as a drop down. So I'm clicking outside and clicking exactly here on this. So by default, when you come here, it won't show any action at all. First you have to click here next to this default, then click on this queues or topics, and here you have two sections. One is queues and another one is topics. So here you can add a topic. Actually there is no topics here. Queue, here we can add a new queue. So I'm clicking the add button here. So queue name is free shipment REQ, and here is the JNDI name, no space. Java, that's the protocol, JMS Queue. Then here we are giving a JNDI name. So for easy identification purpose, here I provided the same name and appended that to the JNDI name. That's all. Here we are clicking save. We'll reload it. So we will do that once again. JNDI name, I am giving it as Java JMS Queue free shipment REQ. Then here I am clicking save. So sometimes it will not show the queue. So here we will close this and we will relaunch to see why it is not showing. Okay, we will stop this and we will relaunch. We will relaunch it and administration console, admin, sign in, configuration, subsystem, active message queue, queue or topics, free shipment, request queue, java:/JMS /QUE/free shipment req queue. So it's a durable one. We will click save here, and here you are seeing added queue, free shipment req queue, and this is the name and this one is the JNDI name. Now we will close this admin console, or we will log out of it, confirm, and I don't want to log in again. Here we will click the cancel button and we will exit it. So we will open this in Notepad++. Then we will search for our queue name, free shipment request. So case, it is not case sensitive. Here we are not taking match case. So this is the entry made to our standalone full config. And JMS Queue, name, free shipment, and these two we already saw in the UI, right? These two was already there, and we created this one. JMS Queue, name is a free shipment, REQ, Q is for queue. This is for request and a free shipment. So we can give any name. Then this is the JNDA name. Java JMS Queue. Up to this we provided the JNDI, and then we appended our queue name. So this is just to uniquely identify, and you can give any name, but here I gave the JMS Queue name and appended it here. And by making use of full configuration, you no need to worry about all other JMS related connection factory and other stuff. So these are all already configured for you. So the only entry what we made is this JMS queue name. All right, now we'll close this and we will go to our Eclipse. And in Eclipse, if you see in all our previous examples, here if you say we loaded the Wildfly with a standalone full configuration to get the support of Java messaging services and its vendor implementation APIs. So here, double click on the Wildfly server, then this is the runtime environment, right? We need to change the configuration here. So this is our location. So we already configured, right, as part of our prerequisite. So here, if you say we are using a standalone .xml, so click browse here, then make sure the same path, this is the path we configured, right? App server, Wildfly final, bin standalone. Okay, up to this final. Alright, so this is the server location. Here I'm choosing a standalone full.xml. Now our Wildfly plugin also pointing to the same configuration. So we'll click save all. Alright, now if you start the Wildfly server, it is kind of issuing standalone configuration. Use the standalone full configuration. It's equivalent to that one. Now we can close and we'll start our Wildfly server. Remember, this queue configuration is a part of the Wildfly setting. So we don't even need to add our EJB EAR. So in the console, very first line, click on Control F on your keyboard. Free shipment REQ, click find, and here you will see trying to deploy queue, JMS Queue free shipment queue. So this is a info and we doesn't see any error or warning after this. That means Wildfly trying to deploy, that means it deployed the free shipment REQ queue. So the JMS queue is ready. In the next video, we will create our producer. Then we will go to the consumer. Or we can even start implementing the long-running task in the bean. Bean in the sense, let me quickly cross check. This is a stateless bean. Okay, this is the first bean we implemented, right? Stateless bean. So here itself we will add a new functionality just to mimic the long-running task. All right, we will stop the server. And we will continue in the next video. So just now you watched the demo. We will continue in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.